lesson 6 is divide whole numbers by fractions. Okay? So we want to scan the lesson and predict two things that we're going to learn about dividing whole numbers by fractions. So here is what we're going to do today. We're going to learn how to use a model to divide whole numbers by fractions. And we're going to learn how to use an equation to divide whole numbers by fractions. Okay? All right, any two numbers with the product of 1 are called reciprocals. I want you to make sure you write down that definition in your spiral. Okay? Any two numbers with a product of 1 are called reciprocals. Okay? So we want to complete the table below by finding the reciprocal of 2/3. We want to use guess, check, and revise strategy. The first one is done for you. So here, it says we're looking at 1/2. Now, what number can I multiply times 1/2 to get 1? 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. What number can I multiply 1/2 times to get 1? Well, if you look at this example that's done for you, it's 2, right? If I multiply, remember when we multiply straight across, we're just going to put that over 1, right? Isn't that equal to 1 times 2 is 2? And then 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So isn't 2 over 2 is equal to 1, right? 2 over 2 is equal to 1. So 1/2 times 2 over 1 is equal to 1. So that means that 1/2 and 2 are reciprocals of each other. Okay? So here, what can I multiply 2/3 times to get 1?
3 over 2.
Very good. If I put 3 over 2 here, you can see 2 times 2 times 3 is equal to what? 6. And then over here, 3 times 2 is equal to 6. Isn't 6 over 6 equal to 1? Yes. So that means that the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. Is everybody clear with that? So, if I asked you, what is the reciprocal of 4/5? What is it?
1/5.
All you have to do is flip it.
5/4.
5/4. Very good. The reciprocal is 5/4. Now, I want to point out, you don't change it to a mixed number. You leave it as an improper fraction if it becomes one. Okay? So, if I said, what's the reciprocal of 7/8? What's the reciprocal of 7/8?
8/7.
8/7. Is everybody clear? Notice I did not write equals. I wrote an arrow. Okay? Because 4/5 is not equal to 5/4. 4/5, the reciprocal of 4/5 is 5/4. Find it reciprocals. Dividing 3 by 1/2 gives the same result as multiplying 3 times 2, which is the reciprocal of 1/2. Any two numbers with a product of 1 are called reciprocals. We already wrote that down, right? So you don't have to write it down again. Okay? So here, if we look at this example, I want us to write down this example right here. Okay? We have 3 divided by 1/2, that's equal to 6. Okay? 3 divided by 1/2 is equal to 6. Now, another set of factors that will give us also 6 with the same kind of numbers is 3 times 2. Now, look at this. number, look at this number. The first number, if you'll notice, is the same, right? The second number, which is a fraction, 1/2, if I divide 3 divided by 1/2, I get 6. If I look at the other example, if I take 3 and then multiply it by 2, or 2 over 1, right? I'm going to get 6. Does everybody see that? So here, 1/2 and 2 gives you the same results. Those are reciprocals. Got it? All right. So, if I want to look at these first few examples, we want to find the reciprocal of 2/3. Now, since 2/3 times 3/2, and all we're going to do is we're going to flip that fraction, is equal to 1, then the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. For example 2, here we want the reciprocal of 1/8. All you're going to do is flip it. So the reciprocal of 1 over 8 is 8 over 1, or just 8. Very good. Here, the reciprocal of 5. Well, again, 5 is a whole number. How do I make it into a fraction? Put it over 1. So, 5 over 1 is my fraction. The reciprocal of 5 then is 1/5. So, I'm going to say 1/5 is the reciprocal. Okay? So, here, if we have 5 over 1, and we're going to multiply times that flipped version, and this is just proving what we just said. 1/5. We get 5 times 1 is 5. Over 1 times 5 is 5. And so 5 over 5 is equal to 1. There you go. So the reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. Okay? Now, do you have to go through all this when they ask you for the reciprocal? No. You just have to tell me what it is. Is everybody clear? Yeah. All right. Good. All right. So, example A, we want to find the reciprocal of each number. Once again, do you want to have to go through all that proving anymore? No. All we have to do is flip the fraction. Get the inverse of the fraction. State the reciprocal of the fraction. You see that all means the same thing, right? So, what is the reciprocal of 3/5?
5/3.
5/3. Very good. How about the reciprocal of 1/3?
3.
Evan? 3 over 1, which is just equal to 3. Very good. How about 11?
1 over 11.
Very good. We're going to put that over 1, right? And the reciprocal, we're just going to flip it, is 1/11. Is everybody clear about the reciprocals?
Yeah.
Everybody good? Awesome. To divide, we're dividing by a fraction. To divide a whole number by a fraction, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Make sure you write down that rule. It is very important. To divide a whole number by a fraction, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. All right. For example 4, it says, find 2 divided by 1/3. And we want to write the answer in simplest form. Now, there's 2 methods. The equation method, which is a piece of cake, okay, because we know the rule, and using a model, a picture. That's pretty much, that's piece of cake too. That's piece of cake too. Okay, so we want to model the dividend 2, okay? See, we have two boxes here. One box, two boxes. That's two boxes, right? So that's 2, right? Then we want to divide each part into thirds. If I divide it into thirds, 3 equal parts for each one, right? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Those are thirds. Is everybody clear? Now the question is, what is 2 divided by 1/3? How many 1/3 pieces do I have here? 6. So 2 divided by 1/3, 2 divided by 1/3 is equal to 6. Okay? So the second method is to use the equation. Okay? So here again we have 2/3 divided by 1/3. Now, we know that 2/3 divided by 1/3, we already looked at the picture and we said it's going to be 6 equal parts, right? So, if I change that, if I'm using my rule here with 2/3, 2 divided by 1/3, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, right? That means that the division is going to become what? Multiplication. Right? The division is going to become multiplication. And then the 1/3 is going to become what? Correct. Because we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, right? So you're going to flip it. So that becomes 2 over 1, which is just 2, times, because the division became multiplication, and the second fraction became the reciprocal, 1/3 became 3 over 1. Is everyone with me? Yeah. And then you're just going to multiply straight across. Okay? So, you'll need to know how to do the method 1 and method 2. Okay? Alright, so we're going to find 7 divided by 2/3. Now remember, when we divide fractions, what do? Multiply by the reciprocal. Very good, very good. Multiply by the reciprocal. So, here, the first number stays the same. We don't change it. You should write this down in your notes. You don't change it. The first number stays the same, right? But since it's a whole number, can I split it over 1? Yeah. So I'm going to put 7 over 1. Right? The division becomes multiplication. The division becomes multiplication. And the second fraction, 2/3, becomes the reciprocal, which is the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. Very good. 3/2. So now we just multiply straight across, just like normal. If I can simplify before I multiply, I should do that. Okay? Alright, so when we multiply straight across, we have 7 times 3, which is equal to 21. And 1 times 2, which is 2. And then, there is my improper fraction. And now I'm going to change that to a mixed number, right? So how many times does 2 go into 21? 10 times, right? 10 times. With how many left over? 1. So that 1 becomes the numerator, and the denominator stays the same. Is everybody clear? Yeah. All right. Once again, the first number stays the same. Is everybody clear? We do not flip the first number. Once again, we do not what? Do not flip the first number. Good. Okay. So the first number stays the same. So this is going to be 6 over 1. The division becomes multiplication. And the second fraction becomes the reciprocal. So 1 over 3 becomes 3 over 1. Very good. And then we multiply like normal. So 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. And 18 over 1 is just 18. And there's your final answer. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. How about letter E? What am I going to do first? Question?
You're gonna change the division to multiplication.
Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that 5, put it over 1, right? Yeah. Okay. Put that over 1. And then, yes, you're going to change the division to multiplication. And then what's going to happen to the second fraction?
Flip it.
You're going to flip it. It becomes the reciprocal, right? So this is going to be equal to what? 3 halves. And then multiply like normal, straight across. If I can simplify before I multiply, you will. Very good. So we've got 15 over 2. And then we can change that to a mixed number. How many times does 2 go into 15? 7 times. Look how many left over? 1. And the denominator stays the same. All right, at summer camp, the duration of a field hockey game is 3/4 of an hour. The camp counselor has set aside 6 hours for field hockey games. How many games can be played? Well, so we have 6 hours, right? And how long does it take?
3/4.
3/4. So that means how many pieces is each one of these 6 going to be broken into? 4, right? Because it's now, how many of those 4ths does it take to play a game?
3.
3 of them, okay? So here is 1 game, right? And if I continued breaking those up, you would be able to break up and then count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You'd be able to see how many games would be able to be played in that 6 hours, okay? Using the equation, all we're going to do is we're going to divide that 6 hours into 3/4, right? So 6 divided by 3/4. That is the problem that we're going to solve here. You should write this down in your notes. Okay? So here, the first number stays the same. The division becomes multiplication, and the 3/4 becomes the 4/3, which is called the reciprocal. Very good. Now, look right here. Before I multiply, I can simplify, right? Before I multiply, I can simplify. And then here, now, 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. So how many games can they play in that 6 hours?
8 games.
8 games. Is everybody clear?
Yes.
All right.